show to bit of the. I have actually 9 days, so it's so big. I know, we can't do it all, yes.
But if you conclude now, then we
Yes, yes.
ask them.
Yes, I'll just conclude now. I just wanted to show a bit of this Devi Dume. It is a beautiful Sankirtan performance held at the time of the Durga Puja on the night, on the Ashtami, on the 8th day of. Just go to the second. And this is the Maharaj. Again, just coming to the square and the circle. So the mandap is a square and the circle is formed by the dancers. So the sacred circle in the square. This is a ritual. Even today, they are not professional dancers, but they are offering it as worship. So those who dare to apply, they have to take the permission, and then we can, yes, they can. So I think I'll stop here.
They are not professional. How they are coordinating?
Because they are, they go through about a month or 2 months of training. Yeah, they go through. And as I said that, since they are always, from childhood they are learning. So, and these steps are much simpler to what we do on stage. So, ritualistic steps are repetitive and simpler. Thank you so much, and I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. I now invite questions from all three speakers. We have 15-20 minutes, so feel free to ask questions. Okay?
So I understand.
It was just wonderful. It was like a feast. And just knowing a very, very important tradition of art, living art. You are a professional dancer.
Yes. Manipuri, yes.
But you have said one thing, that you don't know what they say, the words during the time.
No.
I think you should.
No, I'll explain to you why.
That will add to
what only that part where the oracle, that's in a very ancient Manipuri script. I understand Manipuri, I speak Manipuri, and what they say on all these dances I know. It's only when the oracle, when the Mailis talk, it's so jumbled that even the Manipuri person doesn't understand. It is not that, it is some kind of a dialect which is an ancient dialect. We don't really, and it's very difficult to comprehend.
Every Tantra tradition, there is a language which is to be understood only by the adept of that Tantra. It's Sandhava. That is not
In fact, when people go to trance, it is actually a trance, it's a state between living and dead. In fact, you are actually communicating with the dead, with the deities, and that part of dialogue, that part of communication is certainly never comprehensible. It's not meant to be comprehensible.
It is like a mystical dance, you see.
No,
mystical dance.
It is slightly different. No? Trance dancing is slightly different from mystical dancing. It's actually a ritual in which certain chosen people, they are attuned to be in a state of transcendence, but they can communicate with the dead, with the other world. It happens in many parts of Africa even today. In fact, right now there is a theory going on in the world of art that when you discuss the prehistoric cave paintings, they're so beautiful. Now the question is, when you have never seen a piece of art, how can you think of creating art? You have never, in 30,000 years ago, you have not seen any art in an art gallery or anything. So how come someone towards the recess of a gallery, of a cave, where it's very difficult to even walk down, you have to crawl sometimes into the cave. And yet you've been magnificent animals. How the concept of creating an image came into the first place. And there they say that when you go into a trance, you see images forming into your brain. And that is the image that they have painted on the walls. That's the theory, it's not that.
That happens always, even today.
Even today.
Have you seen Vishnu?
Yes.
Have you seen Buddha? But we are creating, so that is the image created by our own imagination.
Or we can say they were recording an image.
You were recording an image.
Event.
Any other questions?
No, but you see the prehistoric.
He has raised hand.
No, sir, carry on.
No, just say about it.
पहले आप this bird first time in Bharat, the good presentation, and really I enjoyed. But it would have been better if you could have gone to the stage and stood in front of us. Anyway, it's a good thing. And
I asked Swamiji, that Swamiji, can I demonstrate some? But then it was, I need a little bigger space actually, little bigger space.
In fact,
anyway,
But Preeti, what you have done is good.
Good,
Because
good.
you have given the historical perspective as well.
Thank you.
So that's all changes.
now I congratulate Dr. Mahanta and Dr. Chakravarti who also presented two papers in Raman and
any questions to them?
No, I give my suggestion. I give my suggestion. No, later, what is the harm in congratulating them? There is no harm. That is the point. Content is there. So now I suggest her to edit something which is not necessary and it is not necessary. There are certain points which are not necessary. Delete them and give clear-cut conclusion in your paper. At the last, you should give your clear-cut conclusion and delete something which are not necessary.
That I'm to blame because I lost.
And then, Dr. Mahanta, I'd like to say one thing. Your name on the paper was viewing the world of music and dance and explanation.
I mean, the Assam part was like missing there.
Then it should delete that there.
Assam was there.
Assam, yes, that is very clear. Thank you.
But you have done it too quickly, whether she has done it.
No.
You want
No,
to
I was talking on what you said, that those people in prehistoric art, they draw animals which they see all the time.
No, that's a difference. There's a theory that they saw animals and they killed animals to eat them. Now the recent archaeological excavations showed that around the caves they have dug out bones, but they are the kind of bones which they have not ate. It was different kind of animals. So obviously the hunter theory doesn't exist. So they must have seen those animals speeding past them like bisons and reindeers, which they were not in a position to kill because they had no arms or anything to kill them. But yet the magnificence of hordes of bisons passing through, that must have gone into their subconscious and they must have trained.
Well, that's a theory.
That's a theory. That's exactly what I said. That's a theory.
The other question I had was when you're talking of people in a trance and a language that is a hidden language, Sandhya language, who understands it? And if no one understands it, what is the point?
That's the point, the headman, the someone or someone who goes into a trance, they claim that they're different from you. So what they utter is something only the God understands, you don't.
They don't, they also don't.
I believe they don't.
So कुछ भी गौरववती को
Now,
There's a question first.
yes, please.
I have a question for Preeti Patel. I was enjoying viewing those and I wondered if it would go on for a bit longer but for the time constraint. But when you were talking, we saw you were using exquisite mudras with your hands. But we didn't get to see those in the Manipuri dance. Do they have very exquisite mudras in the Manipuri dance also?
Yes, yes, they do. I didn't show much of it.
Just stand up and show us.
It's a simple, it's a prayer to Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Deva Mahesh.
Sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Dhyanamoolam Guru Murti Pujamulam Guru Padam Mantramulam Guru Vaikam Mukhyamulam Guru Kripa Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo.
Well, I must thank the person who asked this question. But for him, we would not have this asked this. I thank you very much. Very great.
The hand gestures are in the Laiharoba tradition. It's very, when they describe the creation of man, then it's very interesting. There are 364 hand gestures. So just the Hachan Sava, the description of the body would be about 64, which is not just it's from the head to the eyelashes, every aspect of the body is described. So then these are beautiful hand gestures. I think I'll invite you to my performance. Then we can show it.
So, yes,
Just two things. First one to Priti Patel. One thing is when I came across one text, Hastamukhtavali, edited by Maheshram Neok. Now, where these hand gestures are described, and are they applied in Manipuri also with the same purpose, or differently?
You see, there are different terminologies which go into, which are, for example, pataka. It is very, in the Sanskrit, in our Ola, we have the pataka, three pataka, and the pataka. With pataka, this is, khupak in Manipuri. Kush, this is, the mushti. Khutum, so these are the different terminologies which are used. It's just the names are different in a different language, but it is used for the same purpose, Anjali, which we are, it is the same purpose. There is not but the distinction between the single and double hand gestures are not there so much, because in Laiharoba tradition it is all a description of the whole the body, the weaving of the cloth, the daily chores, or farming, or the making of the house. It is through single and double hand gestures. For example, this is the head, this is the forehead, this is the eyes, then the nose. So from when we move down, we will have some are double hand gestures, some are single. So it's a mix through the traditional description of creation.
The second one is, long ago, once I had been to Guwahati University, and they had a program of dance. I don't really remember the name of the dance, maybe it was Satriya dance. The Sutradhara came and danced for quite some time. Now, one thing I noted, that in none of these dance forms, the dancers were using any ankle belt, ghungroo.
Yes.
Is it the fact that is why that has to be supplemented by these kartals, these symbols, small ones, big ones, and so on, so the melodic sound that comes from the symbol, that comes from this ghungroo in other dance form, is more or less supplemented or substituted by the symbols.
You are raising a very good point. Yes, in Kshatriya tradition, in the ritual performances in the Kirtan hall, like the worship through dance, where the monks submit themselves to worship the Almighty through dance. The same way that is happening in Manipuri. The dancers, the monks do not use gungurs. Of course, nowadays in processional performances, some of the dancers are using these gungurs, but traditionally in the Kshatriya performances, the dancers, the monks, or even some of the dancers directly influenced by the Kshatriya tradition are not using gungurs in the stage also. So, as you have rightly observed that in the performance, traditional performance, gungur is not used.
I think the other day I have seen somewhere gungur they have used.
Sorry.
The other day I have seen somewhere gungur they have used.
They are not following the tradition.
As I told you, some of the dancers today on stage for their performance. Yes, some of them.
No, see, the point is that in other forms also symbols are used, like it's a mandira in Bharatanatyam, but that is only for keeping the time. It is not for an embellishment. But in Assamese dance we saw that the use of symbols is much more pervasive, almost parallelly with the khol. They also play so many things.
Yes, in the whole music tradition of Kshatriya, there are so many types of symbols, starting from the larger ones, the middle ones, and the little ones. And particularly in the dances in the Kirtan Ghar, the larger symbols are used, not the smaller ones. Because again, on the demand of the stage today, Procession stage, because the larger symbols take out the rhythmic part of the khol. So gradually the size of the symbol, of course, smaller size symbols are also used in the Kshatriyas, no problem. But nowadays mostly the dancers accept the dance of the Gayan Bayan, about which Namaji was talking about it, accepting the dances of the, this Gayan Bayan, the Themalis. Most of the dancers are now using smaller kind of symbols.
Thanks. I think right. There's one question.
While I was listening to these presentations, it occurred to me that if you look at it from a kind of long-run perspective, a long-term perspective, one could look upon these as narratives of the incorporation of the relationships built with the mainstream traditions, the building of such links between the mainstream and the different local cultures which exist in every part of India. And that sort of larger story has often been the theme of many historical works. I was wondering whether there is also a contrary tendency. What are the tensions between the local, indigenous, and shall we say, nativistic traditions, between that and the mainstream? Because it's very likely this would happen, and this has happened all over the country. In the particular forms of art that Navamansi had talked about, or Preeti has, or Pradeep Jyotisha, I wonder, in these particular forms are such tensions evident? Or this is really something that is only imagined by those who write history?
No, the tensions are there. Definitely the tensions are there because what I am facing as a practical dancer is that when my dancers are from this tradition, from this indigenous background or families, they are genetically very good. So, but they don't want to take it up anymore because there is no money in it. They think that if we go into education, which is very important, yes, and we go into a mainstream like the computers and doctor, which is again, yes. Then we are, at least I can have a proper life which is dictated by consumerism, which is the televisions and the cars and the mobiles and things like that. So a lot of them are attracted to this. Day by day I'm having such difficulty, so we have a strong training program by which we give scholarships so that they come and they stay with us. I give them housing, I give them everything in Calcutta, so that they train under us and with the central government scholarships. So and if they can make this into a livelihood, but it's a struggle. It's a very hard struggle for us.
I don't think that's what I said.
Is there any other questions?
You meant culture.
Any other? Oh, yes, please. One of them at the back, sir.
So I have one question, because both Satriya and Manipur is from the northeastern region. I wanted to know if the tal system is similar, or the rags that are used in Satriya and Manipuri, whether they are similar or dissimilar, because the Ministry of Culture actually offers scholarships to study Manipuri music and Satriya dance, and so I just want to know whether there are similarities in the tal system and in the music of both the dance forms, even in the rag.
Between Satriya and Manipur, or with the mainstream North India?
No, it's because it is from the northeastern region, because there is strong influence of Vaishnavism. That's why I want to know whether the tal system which has developed in the Satriya dance and the Manipuri dance, which has acquired a classical status today, whether they share similarities or not. That's my question.
They do. But you see, because when Vaishnavism came from Manipur, it came through Assam. The Goswamis traveled through Assam to Manipur, and therefore, they adopted the tradition. But then they took the shape or the color of that particular state.
A kind of indigenization.
Yes, exactly.
That always happens.
So even in, for example, through, I don't know much about Kshatriya, but definitely when you see the Ojapali, when you see the Kartal, and you see the Kartal of Manipur, there's a little bit of similarity of when the poom players or the drummers of even Assam. There are talas and like for example Rag, Kedar, and all this which came from North India, Vasanta, through Vaishnavism. But when you hear the Rag Vasant or Todi Vasant in Manipur, it's totally different.
It is influenced by the regional music.
It has totally been overpowered by the regional music.
You see, I think it's more from Bengal than Assam.
Yes. It's Bengal which came to Assam, took the color of Assam, then went to Manipur, took the color of Manipur. So that is how, it is little similar yet different.
Even the tals.
Yes. But the basic 4-6 things will be there.
Quite a number of questions I had, I don't want. Beginning. Both about the Manipuri dance and Assamese songs and dances. There's a strong influence of Vaishnavism. That's one thing. Now, so far as Manipur is concerned, this Vaishnavism came from Bengal and is specifically Gaudiya Vaishnavism, Sri Chaitanya tradition. But in the Assam, I want to know from you that how much it was the Bhakti movement, the Bhakti cult, initiated by Shankaradeva independent of Sri Chaitanya, or Sri Chaitanya, how much there is a mix-up. Second question is this: in your account you have presented, you never told us how much interaction was there between Manipuri and Assamese. These two are very much important.
Last question.
Thank you, Professor Mukhopadhyay. Very pertinent question, of course. Yes, historically speaking, Chaitanya and Shankardev, 40 years of difference in age. Chaitanya Dev came later, 40 years later. When Shankardev for the first time came for the pilgrimage, Chaitanya was no more. He died very early, passed away very early. So as such, historically speaking, not much scope of interaction at the level of religious faith or bhakti, number one. Number two, at the level of the faith, Shankardev did not accommodate at all the question of Radhika. He absolutely wished Krishna and Krishna alone. Of course, the Gopikas were there, all the Gopikas were there, and whatever he received from the Bhagavata, he implemented it there, he developed. There might be some, it's my understanding, I may not be correct, because at that moment of time, at that period of history, there were so many dark practices prevailing at the level of tantric Buddhism in some of the Buddhist monasteries, to the extent of sexual corruption, and also some of the Sakta Tantricism prevailing there. So looking at that, perhaps he did not accommodate the question of placing Radha, the way in which Chaitanya Deva did here in Bengal or Orissa. And so there was not much scope of interaction between Gaudiya Vaishnavism and Shankardev Vaishnavism, to my understanding, and also it is held by most of the scholars. And at number one. Number two, yes, Madam Priti was talking in a very succinctly that the kind of dances and the art traditions, flourishing in Manipur at the level of dance, at the level of music, there was an interaction between Assam and Manipur to a very great extent, because King Bhagyachandra was in refuge in Assam for many years. He was out, he was thrown out of the kingdom, he was living for a pretty long time in the refuge of the Ahom king, Raja Shoshinga. And when he went back to Manipur, then he took some of the material, including some dancers, including some musicians from Assam, under the patronage of the Ahom king. So some amount of influence was perhaps initially working in the evolution of the Vaishnava music and dance in Manipur. But as Priti was talking about, it was entirely indigenized with the local soil, whatever was available, and it is completely Manipur's own tradition. But from Manipur, as such, not much material came to Assam, because all the satras in Assam were quite powerful.